Now what do we do?
I stopped the recording.
Start over. You're going to have to hear our music. Play the music.
Yeah.
Now we'll be blocked on YouTube for sure.
Yes, that won't play on YouTube because they claim we don't own it. We do own it.
Well, kind of.
We pay for it.
We paid for a license for it. But what's interesting about that is Cash was playing a video game the other day, like on a phone that he downloaded an app, and that song was the background music of the video game.
No way.
Yeah. Yes.
The Snarf Talk music? That's ours.
Yes.
We own that. Solely.
How are we doing now? Are we?
How we doing now?
Finally?
How we doing now?
Live?
Yeah, I think so. Looks like it to me. I don't see the interrupted sign.
All right.
All interrupted and whatnot. We already have 2 comments.
Hey, Vic, we doing this?
Yeah.
I think it's going to work now.
You did win, Vic, as first commenter.
First commenter and most specialist comment.
Absolutely. We doing this?
We had some viewers earlier. I know Dirk was with us, and
come on back, Dirk.
Come on back. They shared our stream. Mm-hmm. We effed it up.
It's a failed stream, so share the new one that works. Yeah. So it's been a bit. We haven't been on air in a week. We've come back, and we're doing this
From the dead.
Really?
The Day of the Dead.
The Day of the Dead. We had that
because we have a super special Halloween
after the Halloween
episode. We're going to talk about Halloween.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about what we did for Halloween. We're going to talk about Halloween costumes. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about Halloween candy, and we're going to cap it off with what we've been watching. Of course, a little tiny bit of news and top 10 Halloween movies. Our
top 10 Halloween movies.
And this is going to be a contentious issue.
Oh gosh, is it ever? So it's not necessarily based around Halloween, but it is a Halloween-esque movie, right? Because if you look up the top 1,000 Halloween movies, none of them are based on Halloween.
Very few.
A lot of them are not based on Halloween.
I found some lists that were specific to Halloween.
I got a Wikipedia thing pulled up, a page pulled up, and it was all of the movies ever made based on the day of Halloween.
And those are the movies you picked from?
There's some.
Okay.
There's some.
So that's coming up for sure, and that's going to be a lot of fun. And our stream is like working perfectly now.
Yeah, of course it is.
So we're all good.
Have you tried turning it off and turning it on?
That's what I did.
I know.
Turn it off, turn it back on, and all of a sudden it was going almost 50 megabits per second here.
That's all you got to do, Chris. It's a typical IT guy thing.
Yep.
And I'm an IT guy.
You are.
You turn it off.
Internet troll.
You turn it back on.
IT.
And it always works. I do get it, but I don't troll people. No? I only give factual information all the time.
Yeah. Everybody does, right?
100% of the time, if it works.
While I got you, Jerry, I think we got a quick ad this week.
Oh, okay. Well, who are we adding for?
Well, first of all, right now I am working on a deal where we're actually going to have a real advertiser.
Perfect.
An app/video game app thing.
Okay.
Wants to advertise on our podcast.
Contra.
Yes.
I knew it.
It's Contra 2020.
I knew it. That's a great game.
Yeah, and it's a massive multiplayer online game.
Up, down, left, right, A, B, A, B.
Yeah. So we're going to have that
Extra Life
new sponsor coming up. But not yet. Right now.
Beautiful.
Our
now
sponsor this week, Scene Top Show Pigs. You know that?
I didn't know that, but they are a sponsor. They have the best pork in the county.
Yeah.
To show. I mean, it's fine to eat, but if you want to show some pork, this is the pork you want to show.
Yeah.
Okay. They've got breeds from X line.
No, nobody cares about that, Jerry.
What
everybody cares about is we got to figure out a tagline.
Okay.
So if you advertise on our show, it's like a full. First of all, I have a bachelor's degree in advertising.
You do.
So you're getting a professional. Mm-hmm. And we came up with a slogan, a tagline, the copy, everything.
Oh,
but I couldn't think of one for Scene Top Show Pigs, so I thought maybe we could workshop some things out.
Okay, let's do it.
I was thinking the one that jumped into my head was Oink oink MFer.
Oink oink MFer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a
I just think it had the right amount of bravado, but also the right amount of like arrogance and in your face.
Right.
Like grabs you by the
yeah.
Oink oink.
Oink oink mother.
Yeah. You gotta say the whole thing.
I mean, we're a family friendly show most of the time until we drink too much.
Yeah. So that was my idea. I thought we could do like Sam. You could do it like Sam Jackson.
I like that.
You'd be like oink oink mother.
Yeah. There's too many oinks on this. Or no, there's what's he say? I'm sick of these mother oinks on this fucking. Well, I didn't bleep that at all. I didn't bleep that at all. I bleeped the mom part. Yeah, but that's what Sam Jackson does.
Yeah.
Can you do a Christopher Walken?
I can't. I could do like Jeff Goldblum. Oink oink motherfucker.
What about let's think of another one. Oh dang. What would be like a really bombastic character that could say oink oink?
I don't know.
Like a not Drew Carey. He wouldn't be good.
Drew Carey?
Yeah,
He'd be terrible. He's so understated.
He'd be awful, wouldn't he?
He's really become is he still hosting The Price is Right?
Oh yeah.
I heard something like he got sick or something happened to him. His girlfriend got murdered.
No, that's Jim Carrey, I think.
No, it happened. His ex-girlfriend.
What?
Yeah.
From who?
Bob?
The L.A. guy? The guy in L.A.? The Night Stalker?
No, I don't know. Drew Carey ex-wife. Hold on. Let me look it up.
You gonna look that up? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that seems like something we should do. Oink, oink.
Yeah, she was thrown off a third-floor balcony of her Hollywood Hills apartment.
Wow.
An autopsy determined she had been strangled first. This is his ex-wife.
So she was already dead.
Before they met.
No, before they were thrown off the balcony.
Yeah, I believe so.
Because that would be terrifying.
Former fiance.
The strangulation.
We shouldn't be joking about this. It's terrible.
No, I'm not joking about it. I was just saying.
This is a big deal.
That's a big deal. That is a big deal. What if they said
off the rails?
What if they said instead of oink oink? What if they said like kind of like the Arby's commercial and he says, "We got the breeds." Huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
Or we said that, I guess. It's not him.
We got the breeds. Nah, I don't like it.
Oh, I like
don't
that.
like it.
We got the breeds.
Well, we'll work on it. Well, next week we'll have our tagline for Scene Top Show Picks.
All right.
Vic says we should get Manscaped. They do everybody else.
They really do. And we're men.
Yeah.
That need scaping.
For sure.
Like I got it.
Victor, hook that up. We'll give you a royalty.
Roman male enhancement. Is that a thing?
I don't know. Never heard of it.
I never heard of it either. I mean,
What's so good about Roman males?
I don't know. Nothing. They lost.
Yeah. So they want me to enhance myself like to be a Roman male?
Right. They were
didn't
overtaken.
even have indoor plumbing, did they?
No.
They had like open ditches.
They had like bathhouses where they all shit in a trough.
Yeah. I mean, that doesn't sound too bad.
That sounds terrible. Come on.
If there's just a trough of moving water.
Running water all the time.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
That isn't too bad, actually. That isn't too bad.
It's kind of like Wrigley Field.
It's exactly like Wrigley Field. And that's why I don't really care for that place.
Well, whatever. It's amazing to me that they rehabbed that whole stadium and made it awesome. But if you go in the bathroom.
Never touched it.
Still a trough.
Yeah, still a trough.
No, but now it's like a nice looking trough. But it's like they did it on purpose. They're like, well, we want to keep that character. Everybody jokes about the trough thing. So we're going to put in like a hammered brass trough now.
It's so stupid. I think it's so dumb.
That's exactly what it's like, though.
Why would you do that? I get the historic nature of the park, right? The stadium. Upgrade it a little bit so people can pee in a urinal. I just want to pee in a urinal.
I just want to pee in a urinal, guys.
I don't even care if there's sides to it. It doesn't need to have sides. I just need a urinal on the wall where I could have a little bit of privacy for my wiener to pee. You know? I don't need a trough next to another guy. It's silly.
Okay. Well, we got a lot to cover.
Barbaric.
We got Halloween stuff to talk about. Do you want to cover some news first before we get into that? Or do you want to talk about our Halloween that we had?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
I was just trying to weigh. I've got a review.
Okay.
That I was going to do.
Well,
of a thing.
Okay, do that.
You think?
Yeah.
So we've talked a lot about food on this podcast, right?
Yeah.
And we've bashed people for their food that they eat and things that they've ranked on, like restaurants. We did a whole episode about restaurants, didn't we?
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And recently, Morris has acquired a restaurant called Panda Express.
Did you know it's also getting a noodles and company?
It is?
Yeah, Morris.
Oh, I would like to go there.
It's not that good.
It's not? I've never been there.
That's not great. It's
Really?
fine.
Where is that going?
In that strip mall by GameStop.
What's it replacing?
Cash store.
Oh, good. I hate cash.
Yeah.
Nobody wants that
I only
store.
operate an illegal tender.
Yeah. I don't want cash.
I want
Nobody wants that.
Shiba Inu coin.
Is that a real thing?
Oh, yeah. It's the thing.
It is?
Yeah.
I thought that was like Doge.
It just overtook Doge.
It did?
It's now being called the Doge Killer.
The Doge Killer, Shiba Inu.
Yeah. It's another joke.
It's another dog.
One that was named.
It's the face of Doge, actually, is that breed.
Yeah. So, but it's blown up. It's got now like over a $2 billion or $1 trillion valuation. I don't know.
Should I get it?
If you would have bought it a month ago, it's up like 10,000%. If you would have bought it a year ago, it's up like 152 million%. Yes.
That's a number?
If you bought $1,000 of it a year ago, you'd be a billionaire right now.
No way.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm not saying you should buy it. It's
well, at this point, no, I would say
it's
you
not
shouldn't.
a real currency because not that any of them are, but Bitcoin is at least scarce. Shiba Inu is like Doge, where it's intentionally made as a joke to be as there's over trillion. There's like 20 trillion. Like if you buy $400 worth, that's like 5 million Shiba Inu coins.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a lot. That seems like an overabundance. You're saturating the market.
That's the point.
Just to make it go to the moon.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Anyway, I did nothing with crypto. But what I did do is I went to a recently built Panda Express.
Ooh, Panda Express.
Now, we've trashed some people
The trash food of the fast food world.
That's what we've said. We've said that a lot.
I've eaten there recently as well.
And I haven't, I've never eaten there before. I literally never eaten there. So me telling people that it's trash food was
ridiculous.
Absolutely. I just kind of did it because it was a cool thing to do. You know, I was just following your lead because that's what you told me to say with a gun to my head. But we got it. Anyways, they kind of have a limited menu. This is what I was surprised about. The menu itself isn't very wide. When I went to Chinese restaurants before, they have this giant ass menu that have so many different options of different things that you could get. And I've always like skimmed through it and picked basically the same things.
Yeah, but this is a fast food restaurant.
Yes.
Jerry.
So Panda Express, what they've done is take those things that I've always picked from and put it on their menu. And that's the only thing you can get.
Yeah, like 8 things.
Yeah.
10 things maybe.
So they have an app. I ordered from the app. It went very well. Very easy to do. Amy ended up picking it up, bringing it home, and we ate it. And I tell you what, I enjoyed it. It was very good.
Really?
I mean, I like it.
I ate there recently as well. It's not bad. It's not bad. But
No, it's not.
You do feel like garbage afterwards.
Oh, 100%. I've never not felt that way after eating any Chinese food.
Right.
It doesn't matter where it came from.
But even worse so. But it isn't terrible.
No, it's not terrible at all. And honestly, I really liked their orange chicken, and I liked their the beef. Was it Shanghai beef? No, it was
Mongolian beef?
No, it wasn't Mongolian.
Beijing beef.
Beijing beef. Like that?
That's pretty good.
I like that with some rice.
It's basically General Tso's beef.
It is.
Everything is basically a variation of General Tso's chicken.
Yeah, an orange chicken.
It's the same thing. If one has orange in it, the other doesn't.
Yeah, I know. But I tell you what. So I got
one
their
has red pepper flakes and one has orange peel.
You're right. No, you're exactly right. And I love it. I love those two things.
Beef is the same thing.
They have the spring rolls that they have, the veggie spring rolls. Very good. and they have a sweet and sour that's a little bit different than any sweet and sour that I've had before from a regular Chinese restaurant. This one had a little more zip to it.
Ooh,
I don't know what
zang?
it was.
Zip
Yeah,
and zang?
a little zang came in my mouth. And I was dipping my spring roll in it. Loved it.
They have a
Dipped it
little bit
into
different
soy
crab
sauce.
rangoon too.
I didn't get the crab rangoon. I should have got it.
Okay. Hey, so what's your out of 10?
Oof, out of 10.
Out
I didn't
of
know I
5.
was gonna
5 stars. 4, 3, 2, or 1. How many stars? For the entire restaurant world. First off,
No.
restaurant.
No. It's my experience of.
I'm gonna do 2 things.
Okay.
With 5 being the best restaurant you've ever been to, 5 stars, and 1 being Panda Express. Where would you rank it?
I mean, out of every restaurant I've ever been to,
Yeah.
including like high-end restaurants,
Yeah.
we're going to go with like a 1.3.
Okay, 1.3.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Now, as far as fast food restaurants,
Okay.
out of 5 stars.
Out of fast food restaurants, I mean,
Multiple fast food restaurants can be 5-star. I'm not saying like you have to have a hierarchy.
Oh, no, I know. It's dumbed down now to a 5-star.
It's a 5-star. Like if you're saying as a fast food restaurant experience, how many stars?
I'd give it, you got to be in that special mood for Chinese. And when you're in that special mood for Chinese, it's freaking good, And I feel like that's the mood you're in every time you get it because you have to be.
Otherwise, you wouldn't go there.
You don't stop there like you would a McDonald's or a Taco Bell or an Arby's or like literally any of the others, Culver's, whatever, because they've got food that we eat as like
that's food.
Midwestern Americans.
Yeah, that's what food is.
So this is like a specialty fast food, and you're going to be in that mood. So saying that, every time you get it, it's enjoyable, and I would want to make it a higher star ranking because of that. But you got to take stars away because it's only when you want it.
And it's not as versatile. Yeah.
So I'm going to give it a 2.8.
Okay, 2.8. That was a long road to hoe to get.
I had to figure it out. I didn't want to jump into this. We're ranking things. This is serious business.
In the interest of moving on, because I do have another question, is you actually have another restaurant you could review because you went to Beast Burger.
I did. Yeah.
Mr. Beast.
Yeah, Mr.
The world's
Beast,
favorite YouTube celebrity.
He's the biggest YouTube celebrity in the ever. And he apparently makes a burger. I didn't know about this. Grady was telling me about it.
I watched the video with Cash. He basically started his own fast food restaurant because he wanted to.
Yes.
And apparently the idea just went over so well that they're just like, we're going to take this. I don't know how it works, so they must partner with a local restaurant.
That's what they do.
I don't know if the restaurant is buying their menu.
That's what you're doing. You're
licensing it.
He's created a menu of the Beast Burger and a chicken sandwich, certain fries, shakes, things like that. And he's saying, if you want to buy into this, you can. So different places can buy into the Mr. Beast franchise,
so they're just
and then
licensing their image and name and recipes.
That's all it is, and you're selling it out of your restaurant. So it wasn't. I told you it was like a pop up for a certain amount of time. It's not. It's White's Cafe in Morris. They bought into it and they're selling it. Like you can get it anytime you want, really now. But you can go to MrBeast.com and order it anywhere across the country, and it's only through. You got to get it through DoorDash. I don't think they do it in the store.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because any option I looked at was only for delivery.
So they just got paid a bunch of money by DoorDash.
And you can pick it up. You can pick it up from the store, but I mean, I wasn't going to Morris at the time. So you can pick it up from the store, so that's fine, and that's all going to White's. But yeah, DoorDash is a big thing with this burger. Anyway, I found out they were doing it in Morris. I saw it on Facebook randomly, and Grady happened to see my screen as I was looking at it, and he's like, a Mr. Beast burger, where's that at? I said, well, Grady, it's in Morris, actually. And he wanted it really bad. And then I saw a picture of what the burger looked like. I was like, man, that looks good. Looks like a good burger, So that day I didn't end up, that was on a Saturday. I didn't end up getting it because we ran out of time. Because White's only stays open till 3, and I think that's ridiculous, but that's what they do. The next day on Sunday, I ended up ordering it at like 11:30. It takes about 40 minutes for them to do the whole deal. and they delivered it right to my house. The lady for DoorDash called me because if you Google my address, it's like 1,000 feet away. Why that happens, I don't know. Got her to the house. She delivered it. It comes in a big yellow Mr. Beast bag. We get everything out, and I got 2 meals for 3 people because the boys can't eat. They're double cheeseburgers. That's the basic option. You can only get a double cheeseburger. So I split one for them because they couldn't eat a whole double cheeseburger. And then I had the other one, and it was absolutely phenomenal.
Really?
It's the best cheeseburger I've had in a very long time.
Well,
very long time.
I'm definitely going because cash is like, that's all I can talk about.
The fries were fine. I got the seasoned fries. They're a little bit spicy. I should have got a seasoned and an unseasoned to test both. And honestly, I want to try the chicken sandwich too, because they've got like a chicken sandwich that I love chicken sandwiches. So that looks good. But yeah, the burger was very, very good. The bun's incredible. The meat was very good. And the style of burger where they put basically everything on it, unbelievable. Loved it. I ate the crap out of it. Very filling. I don't know if they put MSG in this stuff like the Chinese, but it was very filling. But it's so good. I would do it again. Pricey, obviously. Very pricey because it's a gimmick.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of you got to pay for I paid for the delivery and everything like that. So it was a little bit expensive. I wouldn't necessarily have it delivered again, but I would pick one up in a heartbeat because it was very good. Fries were a little bit lacking, I would say. But the burger itself, if I'm giving it out of 5 stars, 4.3.
Nice. Kelly says Waits' Cafe's smash burger is the bomb, and the chicken wrap is good. I've eaten there many times for lunch. Yeah, it's pretty good.
I've never been there since it was rebranded.
Yeah, new owners.
And it's kind of bougie now. You know, bougie.
Boozy?
Bougie.
Like bourgeois?
Yeah. Like bougie.
Okay.
It's kind of like upscale fancy kind
of. We should move on. We got a lot to cover.
A little too fancy for
got some news?
britches. Yeah. So the externals. You know that brand? You know that movie?
The Eternals?
Eternal. Is that, what did I say? Externals?
External.
That's what I wrote down. I literally wrote down externals. The Eternals, that movie that's coming out. It's an MCU movie coming out relatively soon. It has recently had reviews start pouring in. Early reviews. About 200 early reviews have been coming in through Rotten Tomatoes. And they are relatively disappointing.
Really?
Yeah, it's not good.
Okay.
And they keep trending downwards.
Well, that's terrible.
As they come in, and it has, as of right now, I wrote this today and I checked it today. It has a 53% score on Rotten Tomatoes, and it is the first MCU movie ever to be a rotten score.
Wow.
And apparently, it's based on people hating it, and this is from critics. This is not from the public. This is also critic reviews. They're hating it on the like different type of people in the movie. And
what do you mean?
Like what am I trying to say? Like I don't want to say wokeness, but I want to say like diversity. They've made a diverse cast that don't necessarily blend well with the story. And apparently people have a problem with it because it seems so incredibly forced.
Oh, okay. I could totally see that happening.
And
that's what they've been doing.
I know. And I don't know if this movie was made that way prior. I don't know if they changed it to be that way or if it was made that way.
Or if it's not, we have to see it for ourselves.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, I haven't seen it, but
you pretty much just guaranteed I'm not going to see it in theaters.
But I tell you what, like the early ticket sales have jumped up really high.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's beat out.
You can't go off
Shang-Chi.
critics. Listen, can't go off critics.
No, I know. But it surprises me that critics would ever do that. In today's day and age, most critics would applaud that and give it really high scores going forward because of that. Because of like diversity and changing the way films are made now and like how you cast them and how you do that kind of stuff has been a problem in Hollywood. I understand that. And normally reviews come in very positively because of it. But what I've read is that it seemed so overly forced that it's ruined the story.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what's coming through, and it's gotten a really bad score, and it's the very first MCU movie to not score, out of the charts right off the bat.
Right.
So, I don't know. We'll have to see it ourselves. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to go to the theater to see it.
Well, I don't know. Cash really wants to see it. So.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Yeah, Grady wants to see it too. I'm not opposed to going to the theater. Listen, the only thing I live for is going to the movie theater.
It's the only thing.
It's the only thing.
I'll go to Morris.
I will not,
ever. They got like a $2 ticket now.
I don't care about the price.
Basically costs nothing to go there.
I don't care about how far I have to drive. I'm going to go to a seat that reclines.
Oh, yeah. I'm kidding. I'll go to Joliet.
Yeah, that's where I'm going to go. Did you have any news?
Okay, there was a new Ghostbusters trailer, Ghostbusters Afterlife trailer. Mm-hmm. It comes out next week, I think, or 2 weeks. But it looks phenomenal.
Yeah, it really does. We watched it right before the podcast started, and I hadn't seen the new one. I've seen a lot of trailers for it, but I hadn't seen the new one. And, boy, it looks real good.
It looks really good. I'm super excited about this movie. I don't think there's any way they can screw it up from what it looks like.
I don't either. The part that aggravates me is that this movie's been made for such a long time. It was supposed to come out like early 2020, wasn't it?
I don't know. Not early 2020. I think it was supposed to come out in the spring.
I feel like we were talking about this movie in 2019. Like, that it was even being made and that we should be seeing it.
This movie's been being made for like 10 years.
That long?
They announced this movie before the other Ghostbusters movie that came out.
No.
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes. At that time, they said, we're going to make a Ghostbusters movie. And there was this whole really confusion in the air because what developed was 2 different Ghostbusters movies were being made. One that was a complete rebrand, the one they made before.
Sure.
And one that was supposed to be a more serious follow-up to the original movies, the one they're coming out with now.
Yeah.
And once the other one got ahead or got started making first,
you had to separate yourself a little bit.
They just kept delaying it and separating and waiting for the stink to wear off of it, I think.
No, I honestly believe that is the thing. They had to wait and put some separation in between the 2 films.
Because it was always going to be Ivan Reitman's son,
Jason Reitman,
yeah, that was doing it, always. And it was going to have the original cast and everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, this has been a long time coming, so I think it's pretty exciting.
The
new trailer looks great. Check it out.
Yes, check out that trailer.
What else you got?
We've got 2 more trailers that I've seen.
Go for it.
One of them is Book of Boba.
Ooh.
The Book of Boba. So the Disney Plus show that's coming out, I believe, in December, or is it end of November?
It is December.
I thought it was December.
Yeah.
So it's coming out relatively soon, within a month, and it's all about Boba Fett's journey after what you have seen in The Mandalorian, if you've watched The Mandalorian. And he's basically taking over Jabba the Hutt's lair and everything that he's done. So it looks pretty cool. I liked the action. Boba Fett is taking, obviously, the main stage here, and I'm in for it. I don't care what Disney Plus does for a TV show with Star Wars. I am going to watch it immediately.
Absolutely.
Everything, especially if it looks like The Mandalorian, which this one absolutely does.
I don't think it looks exactly like The Mandalorian. It seems a little less
not exactly
fantastical and a little more like original Star Wars to me.
I agree. No, I agree. But I thought like Mandalorian felt that way to me too.
It did, but it was it had a chicness to it, a sheen to it.
Okay.
Yeah. That I think was very fantastic, or like, what's the word I'm looking, like fantasy, like.
Yeah.
And this feels a little more like, Star Wars, the original Star Wars series.
Yeah.
It just has that aesthetic to it. So I think that makes sense if they go that direction. They got one, they got 2 different things kind of going off in different directions.
Yeah, it separates them. It will separate their paths finally.
So no, it looks amazing. The trailer looks great. I can't wait for. I'm obviously like a gigantic fan of Ming-Na Wen.
Ming-Na Wen.
Ming-Na Wen.
Yeah, say it right. Okay.
So I'm super excited to see her back there.
Mm-hmm. And she looks like she has a pretty main role in the show.
For sure.
She's going to be throughout it. So I'm very excited for that. It's coming up soon. One more trailer that I've seen, and I know you've seen it because we watched it again before the podcast, is the Sony picture Morbius.
Morbius.
The vampire.
The Spider-Man villain.
Yes, he is a Spider-Man villain. It's the
kind of a anti-hero.
Very similar to Venom.
Yeah. Similar storyline to Venom. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very similar to that, where you have a guy that's somewhat likable in the beginning, or likable throughout, but has a demon, basically, that attaches to him somewhat. I don't know the story of Morbius a ton.
He's
but
a vampire.
He turns into a vampire, basically, and he has to deal with that. The trailer, I think, looks very good. It's got a lot of personal dealings in the beginning. I think it'll be personal dealings throughout, but he's dealing with a sickness and then changes.
Yeah, I think that to me looked like the most interesting part.
Yeah.
And then it got very action movie-y, which is great. And then at the end, they tie it in with the Spider-Man movies, which is phenomenal as well. So I think there's a lot of potential.
The trailer looks very good. So hopefully it has a good storyline. Jared Leto is the main character. Hopefully he doesn't do a Joker in this movie. It doesn't seem to be that way. I honestly feel like this fits him very well.
He looked great in it. Yeah.
He really did. Because beforehand, you're like, oh, I hate this guy.
Yeah, I do.
And I know. A lot of people have a bad taste.
Poor man's Jake Gyllenhaal.
Right, you did. You did say that.
But you can't have Jake Gyllenhaal because he's already in Spider-Man.
You're right.
Yeah.
I kind of forgot about that.
He plays one of the other villains.
He is another villain. Man. Oh, well. I wasn't really searching out Jake Gyllenhaal anyways, I guess. But Morbius looks good. I'm excited for that. So that's what the trailer I've seen. I've been watching a show. I'm not going to say what it is. But Tim Burton made a movie called The Nightmare Before Christmas. Did you know this?
This is Halloween. I'm not a fan of that movie whatsoever.
What?
Oh, I really don't like it at all. I have no interest in that movie.
You're sick.
Really? You're a fan?
I love it.
That's insane to me.
I love it. How do you not like that movie?
I just don't. Never have.
Well, I do. But anyway, Tim Burton and The Nightmare Before Christmas, it's always been said, like Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas, and you hear his name in the front of it, and everybody would assume like Tim Burton is full on in control directing this movie, The Nightmare Before Christmas. Well, it turns out Tim Burton did not direct this movie at all. He had kind of a limited hand in it. And the whole reason why he had a whole limited hand in it is, do you know why?
No.
Batman.
Wait, what?
Batman Returns was filming at the exact same time that they were doing The Nightmare Before Christmas. And Tim Burton couldn't leave. He couldn't leave Batman Returns. He was too involved with it. Obviously, it was his movie. He was making it. And so he gave it up to what's his name? Henry Selick. Henry Selick.
Tom Selleck's brother.
I don't believe that's true.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Nope, I think that's
non-mustachioed version.
He doesn't have a mustache, yeah. Doesn't look like anything like Tom Selleck, though. If they are related, maybe they are. I don't know. Anyway, this guy directed the whole movie, did everything. And at the very end...
still written and created by Tim Burton.
He didn't write the story either. He did not write the story.
So what did he do? He produced it.
He created the characters. He had the characters created. Another lady, I can't remember her name. I didn't write it down. She wrote the story for it.
Did he outline it, though?
And no, it was Henry Selick and this other woman in a house that wrote the picture and put it all together. And then Tim Burton said, I want it claymation. So they got a claymation studio and put it all together, and they started filming everything. Got everything filmed, basically. And closer towards the end is when Tim Burton came in, started looking over like dailies, like video of what they've shot and everything they had done. It was very close to being finished up. He changed some things, kicked a hole in a wall because he was so mad about the way the vision went, even though he had literally nothing to do with it the entire time. Yelled at a lot of people, got mad at the lady that was writing the characters. He changed some things literally right at the end to make it what it is now. But all in all, Tim Burton had nothing to do with that movie.
Well, I wouldn't say nothing to do with it.
He really didn't.
He produced it. He created the characters. He
never wrote the story or directed or made the film.
Okay, but he still had involvement.
He had some involvement.
He had the vision.
I think it's crazy, though. And
it was his vision.
Every person that worked on that film, it took over 2.5 years to make because it's claymation, so it takes literally forever. And they never saw him until like the last 3 months.
Ultimately, it was his idea and his vision.
Stop it. It's not his movie.
Okay, fine.
The people that made it don't really get any of the credit. And then originally it was just called A Nightmare Before Christmas, but when the promotional people got a hold of it, they're like, well, we should put Tim Burton's name before it because it'll sell better.
Because he's a celebrity.
And then they did, and it
did.
No, it didn't at the time. It didn't sell very well at all. It became a cult classic afterwards because
if you go to Disney World, people are obsessed with that movie.
So
like half of the people are walking around with that.
The director literally talks about that. He said, we put it out, did the whole deal, like the premiere and everything. He's like, it didn't do well at all. He's like, and I moved on with my life. He said it was like 15 years later, I ended up at Disney World and saw so many people dressed up as Jack Skellington. There was Sally. He's like, it was just a huge crowd of people that were obsessed with A Nightmare Before Christmas. He's like, and I did not know that people even watched this anymore. And then the writer, the lady, said the same thing. She's like, I found out, I was in England and people were talking about this show, about the movie and how they watch it all the time. And they both had no idea that it became such a cult hit. Huh. But it was pretty interesting.
I don't like it. I don't like that movie. Don't care for it.
I don't know why. Well, I mean, why?
I don't know. Just don't.
That's interesting. Amy and I won the Kinsman Bar Halloween costume contest as Jack Skellington and Sally.
Really?
Yeah.
I bet there wasn't a lot of other entries.
Back in 2011.
Oh, that's recent.
10 or 11.
That's pretty recent.
Yeah. It was before Grady was born. But I believe Amy was pregnant.
Wow.
Yeah, we won it. It was the last year that Uncle Dave's was open.
I've never won a costume contest.
It's the only one I ever won.
I've never been in a costume contest.
You haven't? Verona used to do it all the time.
But this is a great segue. Where are we at on time?
37 minutes.
That's where we're at?
Yeah.
Oh, great. So what are some of your, since Halloween just happened, we missed our Halloween episode, so we're recapping now.
Yeah.
Halloween costumes. What were some of your best, most memorable Halloween costumes from your childhood?
Oh, from my childhood. Okay.
Or ones that you saw when you were a kid that you really liked.
Okay, so I'll start at kindergarten.
Hey, real quick, what's some of your favorite Halloween costumes? I'll start at the beginning. I was born on a Tuesday. Kindergarten.
I was Batman in kindergarten, and it was the greatest thing in my life.
Which version?
89.
Okay. Wow.
And it was an Batman 89 costume. I had a rubber cowl. It was like a cloth suit, but it had a rubber cowl that you put on. And it was the best thing. I have a bunch of pictures that my mom took of me in kindergarten as this Batman. And I remember for weeks and weeks and weeks of me running around the house, jumping off furniture because it had a cape attached, and capes are really cool when you jump off furniture. So I remember running around in that costume all the time, and it's like what solidified the fact that I was going to be Batman someday.
Nice.
So that one. Then I was a werewolf one year, and the reason why it's one of my favorites is because I worked at the Mazan haunted house for 2 Halloweens, and I was this werewolf that they put in a corner, and I jumped out and scared people, and it was some of the best times of my life. It was so fun. It was so fun. I'd never worked at that time. I loved haunted houses. Amy and I would go all the time. Like in high school, I went all the time. In college, after I got back from my deployment, we went to haunted houses. It was just so fun to me. And then when I got to work in one and get paid for it and still like just scare people that came through, I had the most fun ever. It was really great.
I was mostly talking about like childhood Halloween costumes.
Why?
I don't know.
I was a child. Before it was under 25. That's a child.
Okay.
Isn't it?
No.
Yes, it is.
Okay, fine.
That's a child. And then my junior year of high school, I was a blow-up ballerina. That was a great time. It was like one of them, kind of like Krista and Marley had, where it has a fan and it blows up. Mine was like a big, giant ballerina. And I wore that to school. Won the funniest costume award.
Nice.
In high school. And that was a good time, yeah.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. You?
I don't know, man. I remember a couple memorable ones. I had a homemade. My mom always made the costumes.
Okay.
So she always made our costumes, and so they were awesome. Usually, one time she made like a Teenage Mutant Donatello.
Oh, purple guy, huh?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles costume. I think it was for Halloween. It could have just been for playing around.
Saturdays.
But I'm pretty sure it was Halloween. She made the shell and everything. Like it was a cardboard shell you like strapped on.
Sure.
Stick.
You could get a dowel rod or something for.
I was like huge Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan and a huge Donatello fan. He was my favorite. He's my favorite turtle.
Still is?
Yeah, he was the computer geek turtle.
I know.
Loved it.
What are you, some computer geek?
Donatello does machines.
Is that what you do?
Yeah.
Chris Harford does machines.
So that was a great one. I will remember. I do remember one that was not so great, Jerry.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I don't remember what age I was. I think maybe it was towards the end of your Halloween years.
Okay.
So maybe third, fourth grade.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there. But young enough, I was still in elementary school and they were still having like the parade and everything. Mm-hmm. But old enough that you're like, I don't know if I want to wear a costume to school.
I was never that way.
Well,
I wasn't. I literally wore. I was courting Amy, right? Like, because I was in love with her, and I was like, I'm gonna marry this chick. It was right before I deployed. Now again, I was 18, 19 years old. So that's still a child in my book. But I wore a Batman suit around then as well, and I ran around her parents' house in this suit and was like knocking on windows, like holding my cape up like this.
This is pretty awesome.
It was the greatest thing ever. I drove to her house just to run around in a Batman suit, and she still married me. So this is great.
Well, anyway, I remember my making, like, not wanting a costume, but then maybe at the last minute changing my mind or something along those lines.
Sure.
Well, this was back in the day when one of the most popular things out was like the whole troll thing. Like troll dolls.
Little troll dolls. Okay.
Yeah. So probably like in the early 90s.
So you went as a troll.
Well, so I don't think there was a lot of options left at Walmart. Let's just put it that way.
Okay.
For things. So somehow we ended up with a troll mask, like nose up with the hair mask.
That's it. Just from the nose up.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm like, what? I can't. I'm not going to be a troll.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about here? This is craziness, right?
Right.
Well, there was more to it. It was a whole thing. It was like troll for president.
So you had to wear a suit?
And I was to wear a suit, and there was a button that said troll for president. And that was supposed to be my Halloween costume.
And?
I refused. I refused to wear it.
You didn't even wear it?
No. What I did was I had a couple-year-old Robin Hood, like the suit, Robin Hood clothing.
Yeah.
Still had that from a couple years before. So it was way too small, but I just wore that. I wore the troll mask, and my sister had these like witch fingers.
Okay.
That you put on your fingertips.
Yeah.
So I became like a scary troll.
A scary Robin troll.
Yeah. That was another great costume I had, though. I had the Robin Hood costume with my, a bow made out of wood.
Oh, yeah.
With the string and everything. Back then, we could take bows and arrows to school.
You could, and it wasn't a problem.
Nobody cared.
Nope.
Sharpen those arrows. They were just sticks.
Sure.
But
they were arrows.
Yeah. They're arrows to me. So anyway, those were some of my favorites.
That's fun.
And least favorite.
I was trying to think of more. I had a suit, like it wasn't an old man, but it was like an old ugly man face, I guess. And in high school, me and Sean and Doug had called some girls over to Sean's house. Like, come meet us at Sean's house. We're going to watch movies, hang out in his basement. Did that a lot. And Sean had this long lane next to the bridge, the river bridge in Seneca. Had to go down this long lane to get to his house. Well, we hid in the bushes of this long lane. And as soon as the car came out, we all jumped out to scare said girls. Worked. They got really scared, terrified even. Sean had a chainsaw. Very unsafe. But I jumped on the hood of her car, and she ended up backing up back onto Main Street and drove down Main Street with me on the hood of her car crying. And I was like, this is an issue. So I finally ripped the mask off. I lost it, too. It fell out on Main Street, and the girl saw who it was. She stopped real fast. I then fly off the car on Main Street. Gosh. And, yeah, it was a fun time. And then she picked me up, and we went back to the house, hung out in the basement. It was a really good time. But that's what I did in high school all the time. I dressed up for every Halloween in high school. I loved it. We would trick or treat. We would walk around Seneca.
Nice.
I loved Halloween so much. And it's crazy to me to now have absolutely no interest in it.
Zero interest.
It's weird. Every once in a while, I'll get a spark where I'm like, I'm going to dress up. I'm going to be the dad that dresses up in something funny, you know? So I want to be the funny guy.
But you don't.
And then it gets closer and closer to the time. I'm like, that's stupid. I want no part of this anymore. And then I just walk around with the parents, you know? And it's fine. It's a good time walking around town. I think it's wonderful that our town has something that is so big. Like, it's so town-wide. There are kids everywhere.
It was really it's
fun.
It's really fun, and like everybody in Mazan is great. It's a real small town atmosphere.
Yeah, the town does a wonderful job for Halloween.
It's honestly like a freaking 1950s movie.
No joke. I was thinking that the other night when we had Halloween. So our Halloween was me and Chris and the dude. He's been on the podcast quite often. And our families were walking around town, and obviously we saw so many people that we know. But our kids were running around together, and we just kind of followed them. And then ended back up at dude's house for hot dogs, chili, and dinner and whatnot. And the kids were looking at their, candy and being insane. And we just had a good time. And walking around that town literally feels like you step back in time, because it's basically shut down for everyone to either walk or be pulled on trailers or hay racks or riding around in golf carts. It's amazing. Yeah. It's a really good time. And I'm glad we have something like that, because it could be
super really community aspect.
Yeah.
It was great.
It
was impressive. It made you happy about living here.
It does. It really does. Every year, to be honest, I feel that way about our area when we
I don't know why
it
can't seem to extend outside of Halloween.
I don't know either.
Doesn't make any sense, but
I know. It should be that way. Like, we should be able to trick or treat for Christmas.
There is. There's caroling.
Well,
but
that's
if you
not
go
very
caroling
fun.
now,
that's not fun.
Like, if somebody knocked on your door, first of all, who knocks on people's doors at night?
Right.
Like, first of all, I just said first of all like a bunch of times, but if you did that,
you told me
people would like pull out guns.
Yeah. You told me I was a maniac for telling you to come to the front door not too long ago. So when we went to see Dune, the day we went to see Dune, you were sitting out in the driveway because the garage was closed, and you just sat there and sent me a picture of yourself sitting in the driveway.
In the rain.
Yeah, in the rain. I was like, why wouldn't you come to the front door? And you're like, I'm not a maniac. Who goes to the front door? You're like, and then you're like, who's out there? Who's going to knock?
I'm not
Why
just
are you here?
Show up at somebody's front door.
Just somebody's. Yep. Just some random man. Just an acquaintance of yours.
You do it. You start showing up at people's front doors.
I'll knock on your front door. I'll come over and knock on your front door, but you never close your garage, so I don't have to.
No. I mean, I don't know which door. My house has like 25 doors.
That is true.
It makes no sense.
I don't know what's your front door either, actually.
They're fire exits. I don't even know.
I'll find what I consider to be the front door, and I'm going to knock on it.
Okay.
So,
but no, it was great. It was super fun. See, CJ says nobody uses front doors. He's 100% right. Nobody uses front door.
I have a front door that I just poured a sidewalk to that is just calling for people to knock on it.
Virgin concrete. Nobody's stomped a foot on that.
Very few people have walked up and down the sidewalk to knock on my front door, and all I want you to do is that.
And your door is all glass too.
Most of it, yeah.
Yeah.
The majority of it is. I can see you coming. I know who's there. Okay? It's not going to be a surprise to me. Most of the time, especially if like you were coming over, I probably already knew it.
Right. I've come over unannounced a couple times.
Yeah, but you came to the garage.
Yeah. Because you don't go to the front door. People don't go to the front doors.
I want you to come to the front door so I can usher you in my foyer. I don't have much of one, but
foyer.
There is a place there in front of the front door you could stand.
Yeah, there is.
To be honest, I want to keep you in that little area so you don't go anywhere else. I don't want you in my kitchen. You just seem to always come walking in the kitchen.
Well, there you go. CJ said that just helps complete the landscaping, the sidewalk.
That's exactly what it's for.
It's 100% the only reason for it. Because ain't nobody ever going to that door.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's for. But it's a really nice little area. We sat out there.
We did.
We've sat out there on the porch, on the sidewalk, right there in front.
You will never do that again.
Why not?
Because you have a back patio now.
But now we can extend the party from the back to the front and the front to the back.
Ooh.
Got what I'm saying?
I gotcha. All right. We have to do what we're watching and our top 10. So which do we want to do first?
I don't know. I think we should do our top 10 first and then talk about what we're watching.
We got a bunch of really good what we're watching. We got a complete review of Lock and Key, my review of Squid Game, a couple new shows I watched.
Yes, and I have one from Netflix that I've watched as well.
Okay. So we're going to do...
Ooh, I got to add one, actually.
We're going to do top 10 Halloween movies. So right out the gate, this was a very difficult list for me, okay? Because there's two ways to approach this list. It's either movies about, in, and around, that take place in and around Halloween, or have Halloween as a subject of some kind in the movie. There's that aspect. Or then there's movies, like scary movies, because Halloween's all
horror,
about the frights.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So there's like a horror movie aspect to it. And then there's like the third aspect of movies that you would want to watch in and around Halloween to get you in the Halloween spirit.
Movies that lend themselves to the Halloween
spirit.
Yeah, that seem like Halloween.
So I have a hard time. I'm obviously both of us, and I'm not a horror movie guy.
I'm not really in much either.
I have seen a lot of horror movies, the older ones.
I used to be a horror movie guy.
I used to like older horror movies, 80s, early 90s horror movies. I still do.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a lot of them in a long time. But I'm not a horror movie aficionado. Anything that's newer, I haven't seen it.
No,
I have no interest in seeing it. Anything that's coming out from here on out, I no interest.
No.
Won't see them.
Nothing. The only movie recently that was a horror movie that intrigued me a little bit, there's two of them. A Quiet Place.
I do want to see that.
I thought A Quiet Place and A Quiet Place 2 interest me. That looks something like I would watch.
I agree.
That is considered horror. And then the movie Get Out.
I really want to see that. Yeah.
Those are the only three movies that I could tell you.
And I kind of want to see that Us as well. Same director, I believe.
It is. It's
Jordan Peele. Yeah. So some of those, and I also would really enjoy sci-fi horror. So I would
more enjoy sci-fi horror than anything else.
So I'm willing to watch a sci-fi horror monster type movie.
Sure. Like The Leprechaun. Love that.
It's a good movie.
It's not bad. I'm the Leprechaun.
Mandy says Get Out is the worst. So there you go. I've heard some people say it's
people
great,
love
and some
it.
people say it was terrible.
So many people have said they love it.
So anyway, I went with my own list. This is for me. I did a little blend. Some of them are in and around Halloween. That's why they're on the list.
Correct.
And some of them are movies that may give me a fright or deal in frightening horror type material that I enjoy.
Okay.
So that's kind of what I went with. This is not the same list as top 10 horror movies. I want to be clear.
No.
So I don't want people getting upset about this. This is not a horror movie list.
I don't have a lot of horror movies on my list at all.
I would say maybe 0 on mine.
I've went the same route as you. I've went with movies that I've enjoyed around Halloween, but some of them are literally based around Halloween. Some of them are just movies that I feel like are great movies to watch during the Halloween season, leading up to it, after it, whatever. And they're movies that I have absolutely enjoyed during that time.
Same here. Katie says, Quiet Place is shite.
Man,
I've heard good things about that movie.
I know.
Too,
I haven't heard people say it's bad.
All right, let's get on with the list. We've talked about it too long. My number 10 is a Disney Pixar movie.
Oh, okay.
Called Coco.
Oh, El Dia de los Muertos.
Yes.
The Day of the Dead. Yeah, that's a good idea.
This is not a top 10 horror movie list. I want to be clear on that. So I'm talking about what we just talked about.
Yep.
Coco is all about the Day of the Dead.
It is.
Dia de los Muertos.
Dia de los Muertos.
Me and Marley actually kind of got in a bit of a tiff about this earlier because I brought this movie up. She said, that is not a Halloween movie. And I said, well, it is. It's about Day of the Dead. That's like Halloween.
It's the day after
and
Halloween.
She goes, no, that's not the same thing as Halloween. I said, I don't think it's the same thing as Halloween, but they're all based on the same thing.
Yes.
And that would be like an old Christian or pagan holiday of All Saints Day.
Yeah.
Or that was the
All
Christian
Saints Day
holiday.
is the day after the Day of the Dead. So my sister's birthday is November 1st. That's the Day of the Dead. All Saints Day is November 2nd.
And Halloween is All Hallows Eve. It's the
Eve before the Day of the Dead.
Yes.
It's the 31st.
And I think all of that is based on old pagan holidays before they were Christian holidays.
Correct.
So Day of the Dead and All Saints Day are clearly Christian holidays, but that's based on a fall.
Yeah,
it's basically
the time frame.
But the original holiday would have been a fall, like end of fall going into winter type themed holiday, like the fall solstice. And the death of, the crops die, it gets cold.
Everyone dies when winter comes. Yeah. That's really, we all die inside. Everyone's depressed.
Except for me, I love it. It's my favorite
Depressed
holiday.
And dying. You need to take vitamin D. Start taking it now so you're not sad.
That's actually good.
Just saying.
So my number, I think it is a Halloween movie because I think Halloween, Day of the Dead, all of that is basically the same holiday.
Yeah, I like that.
And I never thought about it before that Halloween is All Hallows Eve. It's the Eve. That's what it is. I know. It's not really a holiday on its own.
No, as soon as you said it, I was like, that is the tie-in. Like, that literally is what ties in the Day of the Dead and then All Saints Day.
Yeah, so my number 10, Coco.
Very good pick.
And by the way, we didn't talk about the movie. It's a phenomenal movie.
Beautiful.
Amazingly beautiful story, wonderful casting, acting, visuals, music's incredible.
Yeah.
It is a can't miss movie. It's to watch with your kids.
I tell you what.
It's a great kids movie, but it's enjoyable for adults.
I put that movie off for a while. I didn't think I'd really care for it.
Remember me.
But Seed and Top Show Pigs. Oink oink.
That's his number one Disney movie.
Yes,
movie.
he loves that movie, and he's talked about it so much. That's what drove me to watch it. And once I actually did, just the visual aspect of this movie is so good. Yeah. It just blows you away. I think it's incredible animation, and the story is very good too. The songs are good.
And I believe I reviewed it at the time on this podcast, and I said it was really refreshing seeing like a Mexican story set in Mexico.
Yes.
That it just felt right. Like everything felt.
It was like based in their heritage, like what they grew up with, like what they do.
It just felt very authentic. Whether it is or not, I don't know, but it felt very authentic.
It felt authentic. You're right. And I don't even think I ranked it in my Disney movies because I hadn't seen it yet when we recorded the podcast.
That's true.
So I didn't get to put it in my list because I hadn't seen it. And I'm sorry for that, but it is a very good movie.
Okay, so your number 10.
My number 10, not even close to that type of movie whatsoever. And it is a little movie called The Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh my gosh, I can't stand that movie. I think it's
What?
terrible.
I love it. It's
Really?
so good. I think it's hilarious. Tim Curry is absolutely hilarious. He's Dr. Frankenfurter. It's literally based on Halloween. This is a Halloween type movie. And why are you all blurred?
I don't know. Go ahead. Keep going.
It's based on Halloween. It's about a husband and wife that get stranded and they have to get into a place to stay, and they end up on Dr. Frankenfurter's mansion, and it just goes awry.
I'm not surprised at all that you love that movie, but
I think it's hilarious.
I'm not a fan at all.
It really surprises me. Meatloaf's in it.
I love Meatloaf.
He's singing in it.
I should have put Meatloaf down on the list.
I just did a TikTok with the song Time Warp.
You did.
That I think is amazing, by the way. I think that song's really good.
By the way, check us out, Snarf Talk on TikTok. Snarf Talk Podcast. What is it? Snarf?
It's Snarf Talk.
Snarf Talk.
Just Snarf Talk.
On TikTok. All right. My number 9 is, we're stretching for it, folks.
Okay.
E.T.
Oh, alien gig.
Yeah.
Huh?
I think, if I remember correctly, it's based around Halloween.
It is.
Kids are dressed up. They dress them up as a ghost. They're eating candy.
Yes.
There's trick-or-treating going on.
It's towards the end of the movie.
So I threw this on the list because...
Good call.
Kurt Chubb says, Katie wants a Rocky Horror party. They dress up in England and watch it. I'll come to that party.
No, you can't. You don't like it.
I'll still come to the party.
You're the worst.
I won't dress up, but...
That's silly. I'm gonna.
No, but what I was saying is E.T., this is one of those where I'm putting it on the list because it's based around Halloween. I said I was going to mix them up, things I want to watch around Halloween, things that are kind of spooky, and movies that actually happen around Halloween. E.T. is a phenomenal movie. It's a great movie for your kids.
Very young Drew Barrymore.
Very enjoyable movie to watch. It is number 9 on my list.
I like that.
I also
pick.
like the ride at Universal Studios. It's old school.
It's very good, though.
Great.
You ride the bike. It's fun.
The kids loved it.
It's very fun. My number 9 is kind of an off-the-wall movie, a little more off-the-wall than even Rocky Horror Picture Show. It's a children's movie of the 90s. And I watched this franchise, every single movie this man ever made. I was obsessed with him.
Ernest,
Scared, Stupid.
I thought about putting on my list. I loved those Ernest movies. Is that the one with the troll?
Yes, he releases a troll. It's on Halloween night.
It's legit the best of the Ernest movies.
So good.
Yeah.
It is so good. I doesn't
anybody watch those anymore?
I used to watch Ernest all the time. I had a whole catalog of Ernest movies and just shows.
Ernest Goes to Jail.
Ernest Scared Stupid. Ernest Saves Christmas.
Something like that. Yeah.
There's Ernest.
What a weird
joins the army
touchstone,
or something,
right?
Yeah, Ernest P. Worrell, man, he was great. And
no, that is a phenomenal movie. I should have put it on my list.
I put it as number 9. I didn't want to give it too much.
Ernest Goes to Camp.
Yes, Ernest Goes to Camp. Yeah,
That's a good one.
Is there Ernest Saves the World or Ernest Saves?
I think so.
Something like that.
Saves the World, maybe.
But I had a video of Ernest that was almost like a documentary type film.
How has that not been done recently? A Netflix documentary on Ernest.
What are these bugs? The last 2 times we've recorded, you got bugs. It's because we're in the cave.
Yeah.
Off the grid.
The Snarf Cave.
Yeah. No, but I had this video of Ernest where it was like a home video almost, where Ernest was videotaping his life, and Vern, where I always said, "Hey, Vern," was cooking hush puppies on the stove. I don't know. This is all I remember, one scene from it specifically, but I used to watch that video all the time, and I don't think it was a movie. I think it was like a series. I don't know.
Good pick. Number 8 for me is a little movie called From Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's not horror.
No,
it's not Halloween-y, but it does.
It is Halloween-y, though.
Yeah. This is where I absolutely fell in love with Robert Rodriguez, and probably where I was introduced to Quentin Tarantino the first time.
I think so.
Quentin Tarantino wrote the movie. He is also in the movie. Harvey Keitel, George Clooney, Juliette Lewis is in it. And they're about basically 2 criminals that get attacked by vampires. It basically mostly takes place like in one like saloon.
Well, it starts from dusk and goes until dawn, man.
And I don't know. It's just the first thing I saw.
George Clooney's great in it.
Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino. I mean, it was the first exposure to that type of film, and that became probably a dominant force for a long time in my life. And as my favorites.
When you first see the people that are vampires and like come out as the evil people in this saloon, it blew me away. Because the first time I ever watched it, I had no idea that it was actually like that type of movie. And so I'm watching this movie. I'm like, where is this going? What's happening? And all of a sudden, these people change and their fangs come out. I was like, what? This is a horror movie? I don't know. I was blown away. I thought it was really great.
Yeah, I love it. Not really scary, but it's kind of a supernatural.
It's a little
gory movie,
campy, but it's very campy. Gory, and it
is by far probably one of my lesser Quentin Tarantino favorites. But
out of all of his catalog, yes. But would I say that that's what drew me into Quentin Tarantino?
Absolutely. That was it. Selma Hayek.
Yes,
she in it?
Yes, she is.
She drew me in.
Of course, she drew me. That's the only reason why I turned it on.
Your number 8.
My number 8 is another Tim Burton movie, I believe. I think he did this movie. He might not have. I might have made that up, but it seems like a Tim Burton movie. It's called Edward Scissorhands.
Ah, that is definitely Tim Burton and Johnny Depp.
Yes, Johnny Depp's in it. It has to be Tim Burton. It looks like it.
You mentioned this movie earlier.
I did.
I get it because it's got kind of a dark vibe to it. But isn't it a Christmas movie? Doesn't it take place around Christmas?
I don't know.
I'm almost 100% sure it does.
But if you look at the movie, I mean, the way every character dresses, the way it's filmed, the way it looks like you're living a Halloween night.
Yeah,
you know,
it's Tim Burton. All of his movies look like that.
They do. They
Even
all look
Batman.
like that. I've got more on the list.
Even Batman Returns.
Yeah,
which is a Christmas movie.
It is a Christmas movie. We've said that for a long time.
Yeah.
I really like Edward Scissorhands. I watched it a lot when I was younger. I think it's a great movie. It's really strange, but it's fun. I think
it's a heartfelt one. Actually.
It is a heartfelt movie, but I think it is really great to watch during Halloween. I mean, and if anybody wants a new costume, you won't see an Edward Scissorhands costume.
You will at Comic-Con probably.
In this day and age, you won't see it for Halloween. And if you want to stand out, dress your kid as Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah.
And get a poodle and chop the poodle's hair all up.
Yeah.
You'll win.
You dress as one of the lawn, sculptures.
Yes, and let your kid cut stuff off of you as you get to houses.
I love it.
You win. You've won Halloween.
My number, what are we on? 7? My number 7 is an actual horror movie.
Oh, okay.
It's The Shining.
The Shining.
Yeah, The Shining. Stephen King. Love this movie. Absolutely love. First of all, I probably read the book before I ever watched the movie.
Okay.
Which wasn't early. Like I probably saw it when I was young, but didn't really, get into it or anything.
Yeah.
And then I read the book when I was probably in high school.
You did? I've never read it.
It's a great, great book. The movie's not super similar to the book.
Stanley Kubrick and
Stephen
King got in a big heated argument over that. Yeah. And actually, Stanley Kubrick, like in his own way, killed Stephen King in that movie.
Yeah.
Because there's an accident outside of the hotel, or on the way to the hotel, I think. Big accident on the road, and a semi-truck flips over on a red Volkswagen Beetle. And at the time, I just saw this on the internet. I read an article about it. I don't know why, but it literally just came up. And Stephen King drove a Volkswagen Beetle at the time that was red. And after they got angry at each other, he put that in the film as a random scene, just showing that Stephen King got crushed in a Beetle.
Nice. Well, the movie is also great. It doesn't go into the depth that the book does. The book is really creepy. The movie is definitely creepy. I wouldn't call it necessarily scary, but it's got a creepy vibe to it.
It's just unsettling. All the time.
I just think it's a great one, and
you always have.
It's Jack Nicholson, man.
Yeah.
It's just he's incredible
in his prime.
Yeah.
You always have the feeling of something bad's going to happen, even when it doesn't. Like it could be a scene where he's just sitting there writing on a typewriter.
He's just so creepy,
and
so
you're like,
good.
Man, what's going to happen here?
Yeah.
You know, it is a very good movie.
So that's my number 7.
My number 7 goes in a little bit different direction. It is, I mean, maybe it can be creepy to people. It's supposed to be, but in a family-friendly type of way. And it is the original Addams Family.
Yes.
From 1993.
I had it on my list. It didn't make my top 10, but I had it down.
It made mine. I used to watch it all the time. Even the second one, Addams Family Values. I would watch that movie all the time, too. I think, what's the lady's name that played Morticia?
Angelica Houston.
Angelica Houston and Raul something.
Julia.
Yes, Raul Julia.
He's dead. He passed away now. He was also in Street Fighter.
He was an unbelievable
Gomez,
yeah. They both like paired together so well.
I haven't seen any of the new. They rebooted now with animated. They look funny.
They do look good. I haven't seen them either. There's one in theaters right now, the second one.
And actually, the best costumes I saw this year were from the Kilmer family. They dressed up as
Wednesday, Cousin It. But the movies are great. I loved those movies. I remember when they came out. We rented it from the Bazan Market to watch it at home. And
Addams Family Values was another one.
The second one, yeah.
And then wasn't there Addams Family Jewels or something like that?
Yeah, but they were different characters or different actors played different people, and it was kind of different. The late 90s took over and it changed things. You know, who's the guy who played Fester? He was Doc Brown.
Yeah, Christopher Lloyd.
Phenomenal. One of the best characters Christopher Lloyd has ever played. And that might be pulling his career down from what Hollywood would say. But I love him as Uncle Fester. I think it's incredible. I used to have a Nintendo game called Fester's Quest.
I have it.
You do?
Yeah, because it's on that joystick game thing I got.
I want to play it.
Yeah.
I want to come over and play that. That's like full nostalgia for me. I have
an Addams Family game, too.
I used to hide in the basement. I was in our creepy, gross basement that smelled like mold. And we had a click TV. You had to...
Ka-clonk.
Yes, to change the dials. But we had a Nintendo hooked up to it, and I would sit in the dark in my basement playing Fester's Quest, which was basically Mario. From what I remember, it was like a side-scrolling game that you hopped and killed spiders and whatever.
It's a terrible game.
Is it? Have you played it recently?
I don't think it's a good game, but that doesn't mean it wasn't enjoyable when you were a kid.
It was to me. I have not played
Super Mario Brothers is a terrible game. If you play it now,
I haven't played that game in literally 30 years, probably 29 years. I don't really remember what it was all about. I just remember having it, playing it, and I can remember the image of it on a screen in my basement. And I also love the Addams Family movie, so that's why it's my number 7.
Nice. My number 6 is another horror movie. I guess I would call it a horror movie. And it has your boy in it.
My boy?
Your boy.
Oh, I want my boy.
Cillian Murphy.
Love him.
You like that guy?
I like that guy a lot.
It is a movie by director Danny Boyle, who's gone on to...
Oh, yeah, he's very good.
...make a lot of big-time things. He made Slumdog Millionaire, which is awesome.
The awesome movie.
127 Hours, another really good movie. It is 28 Days Later. It's one of his early movies. It's the zombie...
I didn't realize Cillian Murphy was even in that.
Rage zombies, real low budget. I think it's one of his first movies. It was real low budget.
It's got to be.
Set in the UK, and it is literally just a nonstop, like, rage zombie apocalyptic movie.
I remember that movie.
I always loved that movie. I don't know why. It might have hit me at the right age, but I've always loved that movie. It's very good.
It is very good. I remember liking it.
And they made a sequel 28 weeks later.
Yep. I remember watching both of those on my deployment. For the first time.
Oh, they made 28 months later, too.
I had never seen... Yeah, I remember 28 months coming out, but I never saw it. I saw the first two, and everybody loved them. I mean, it was the beginning of the zombie era, because zombies...
It definitely isn't the beginning of the zombie era, but...
Well, I mean, of the big screen zombie type stuff.
All that.
I don't think that was really huge for a while. It became a cult classic when the
this
zombie
was
era
kind of
took
a little
over.
bit of a reboot. It was big in the 80s and kind of fizzled out early 90s. And this kind of was a big reboot of that
Yeah, I would agree.
genre. So, yeah, 28 Days Later, check it out for sure.
My number, what is this, 6?
Number 6.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah. My number 6 is going back to a family classic. You probably won't like this. A lot of people like it. I've always enjoyed it. A lot of women enjoy this. A lot of women in their 30s right now.
The Notebook.
Will tell you this is the greatest Halloween movie
I know
of all
exactly
time.
what we're going to talk about, and it's a movie that I absolutely despise. Go for it.
Hocus Pocus.
Oh,
How can you despise these
I just
movies?
don't like that movie.
These are nostalgic movies that are great.
Never
and
liked
it's
it.
Based
I
on
don't
Halloween.
like Bette Midler at
Bette
all.
Midler is an absolute treasure in that movie. Sarah Jessica Parker
She's good.
is wonderful.
She's
and the other girl, I don't know her name.
I don't know.
She was great too.
A
I
lot
think
of
those
dressing up
sisters,
as that this year.
Yes,
A lot.
it's so
more than I've
good.
ever seen.
It's because it's so good, and a second movie's coming out. Hocus Pocus 2 already been signed.
Bette
They've already
Midler's
wrote the
gotta
story.
be dead, right?
She's 1,000 years old, but she signed on to the movie.
She's old.
Yeah, well, she's a witch.
Oh, that's true.
You can live forever.
Okay.
Apparently, you don't know how magic works.
I feel like the other two. I mean, Sarah Jessica Parker was young at the time, and the other one was kind of younger
she's
too.
in her 60s now. I bet you.
Yeah.
Sarah Jessica Parker.
Probably.
And the other woman would be around the same age, I would assume. Bette Midler was by far the oldest of the three.
Maybe she just looks old. Maybe she's not that old. How old is Bette
I would like to know.
Midler?
I'm going to say
She's
78.
only 75. Oh, so she's not that old.
No, not really. How old Sarah Jessica Parker? Look her up. I want to know. I don't know the other lady's name. Otherwise, I'd tell you to look her up. And I apologize for that.
She's only 56.
56. Well, that's a solid age.
That's not old.
No, that's wow. So she's literally 19 years younger than Bette Midler.
Wow, that's crazy.
So if Bette Midler was 40, she would have been what, 29?
Makes sense.
21.
Yeah.
That's young. I like it. A lot of people like it. A lot of people might think this is criminally low for a Halloween movie because it's based on Halloween. It's a big.
Well, I certainly know most people would have it higher, but I won't because I don't like it.
Well, I do like it, and I have it as number 6. I don't like it enough to put it in the top 5.
Okay, my number 5 is Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice.
We'll talk about it.
Okay.
I agree.
we will
I like that movie.
So do we want to skip over it then?
Yeah.
Okay, that's my number 5. Your number 5 is?
My number 5 is a movie that you absolutely despise, Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yep, I also do not like that movie.
I don't know why you are a terrible man. You're a terrible man. They live in Halloween Town. They're trying to steal Christmas Town.
Yeah.
That's why it's the nightmare. It's also like Halloween comes before Christmas, the nightmare before Christmas, like obviously play on words. I love it. Jack Skellington's amazing. They sing, they dance. Claymation is fun. I love claymation.
Do you like Frankenweenie?
I don't know if I've seen that all the way through, but I do think it's enjoyable from what I do see.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I think it's pretty good. There was also
Paranorman.
Yeah, but there's another one.
Corpse Bride.
Corpse Bride. I haven't seen all of that either.
No, I haven't either. There's Coraline as
and
well.
then Coraline's great. I like Coraline.
Yeah.
A lot.
Obviously, Neil Gaiman.
Neil Gaiman's book Coraline. Love it.
Neil Gaiman is not Alan Rickman. Neil Gaiman is not Alan Rickman.
I know.
It's hard.
It is hard to understand that. They seem like the same person.
They really do. Just because the Sandman should be Alan Rickman.
What a travesty.
It is.
That he doesn't get to be a part of this.
So that's your number 5.
Nightmare Before Christmas, my number 5, absolutely.
Big in Disney. Huge. Mm-hmm. I also did not know
it's big across the world, Chris. You're one of the only people that would say they don't like that movie.
I legitimately didn't know it was a thing either until I went to Disney and realized at that point that it's a thing.
Yeah. And it's a short movie. It's not very long.
Well, thank God for that.
You can't even give a reason as to why you don't like it.
Number 4.
You're sickening.
Number 4.
Okay, go ahead.
is, it's a franchise. I will hone in on one specific one that I happen to like the most.
Okay.
But it is Alien. Aliens. Aliens is actually my favorite.
I just watched Aliens.
I have it on box set.
All the way through the other night. Just
the second one.
Yeah, it was Sunday night into Monday morning.
I feel like that was such a big step up from the first one. The first one is great, creepy. It's more of a horror movie. The second one's more of a sci-fi movie.
This is gonna bleed into the what I'm watching segment. But I did watch that movie the other night because of the show that I had watched prior to this.
Okay. Well,
what a great movie.
Great movie, great franchise. James Cameron, Sigourney Weaver.
Sigourney Weaver is just a gem.
Yeah, she is. She's great.
And then Newt. Who doesn't love Newt?
It is, and I don't know. It's not really Halloween-y, but I would consider it horror, sci-fi horror.
Absolutely.
Sure. I mean, it definitely is that.
It is definitely sci-fi horror, and I would say it fits very well with Halloween. I want to dress up as a xenomorph.
I want to watch that movie right now.
The Queen. I do too. I was just thinking about I want to watch that movie again. I want to go home and do that.
Number 4 for you?
My number 4 is a movie. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. I don't know if you've ever seen it. I haven't really talked about it ever on this podcast, but it is a movie that I love. And it's a movie that gets a great score on IMDb. It's 8 out of 10. But it's a little film called Donnie Darko.
Oh, yeah. I know it very well.
Do you? I don't. We've never discussed it.
I was
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Obsessed, like everybody our age was,
yes,
with Donnie Darko at that point in your life, like late teens, early, whenever it came out.
2001.
Yeah.
It came out in 2001. I didn't see this until about the 2005-06 time frame.
All I see is a familiar faces, worn out places,
worn out places.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
Donnie
amazing.
Darko is creepy.
Jake Gyllenhaal gets in an accident. He starts having visions of this grown-up rabbit man that makes him do bad things and do crimes and stuff.
It's also one that has so many interpretations.
Yeah,
huge cult following.
You can interpret it a lot of different.
They made a sequel too.
They did? I didn't know.
Yeah, it was about his sister.
It's a crazy movie. It is absolutely crazy. They consider it a psychedelic thriller, but it is also based on Halloween. It's based on Halloween. This is technically a Halloween movie.
Yeah, 2009, they made a movie just called Darko.
I remember that. Yep. So this is technically a Halloween movie. It's based on Halloween, and I've always liked it. I've watched it a lot. Jake Gyllenhaal does a phenomenal job. I think he does wonderful acting in this movie because he's so torn.
It is a movie that would be specifically enjoyed by people in their late teens. This is a very angsty movie.
It is angsty. I'll have to go back and watch it again. I haven't seen it in a long time, but the little the rabbit guy is creepy. And
Mandy said I've never even heard of this. I'm not sure what she's talking about.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mandy. You're going to need to watch it.
She's never heard of Donnie Darko?
I didn't know if you'd ever seen it. I didn't know if a lot of people saw this movie.
I didn't know there was people who hadn't seen Donnie Darko. That's
really
interesting. Yeah.
Almost everyone I know besides you would never watch this movie.
Really?
Everyone in my life that I know.
It's very trippy. It came out at the same time as a lot of trippy movies like Train Spotting.
Sorry, hang on. CJ Parker had said earlier, dress as Edward 40 Hits.
Yes.
I just saw that. Sorry. Anyway.
Mandy said no. I'm going to watch it. Came out at the same time as a lot of those trippy movies like Memento.
Yeah. Same time as a movie called Scanner Darkly.
A Scanner Darkly with Robert Downey Jr.
Yep.
Train Spotting was a little before that, but those types of movies were big then. American Beauty.
Yes. American Beauty came out
those
the same time.
Real angsty,
they were. It was like a pissed off era.
Yeah, it really was. That was the big thing, and I was very into that.
Oh, yeah.
All of it.
I was much younger than you, so I was only about 4 when these came out.
Okay.
No, that was my freshman year of high school, actually. But I hadn't seen it at that point. I saw it later when I was a senior and out of high school. But very good movie. That is my number 4.
My number 3 is something strange in the neighborhood. Who you gonna call?
Ghostbusters!
Bustin' makes me feel
You
good.
yelled at me for saying Ghostbusters earlier.
Well, that was earlier when I didn't know how to approach this list. I was like, they got to be Halloween movies. Ghostbusters isn't a Halloween movie, and it's not. It's a
No, it's not, but it's
sci-fi comedy,
yeah.
but it's about paranormal things.
Yeah, think about it around Halloween times.
Yeah.
Of course it fits in.
It
perfectly.
fits for me, and it's one of my favorite movies of all time, obviously.
Yeah.
I love both of them.
I ended up taking it off my list, which was silly, but
Yeah. So I'm leaving it on because
I agree.
You know, I think it, especially for kids, has the right amount of comedy and horror.
It does.
And there is some stuff, obviously, that kids won't get or is inappropriate for kids, but that's fine. Mm-hmm. That, as was The Age in the 80s.
It was, which I'm just coming to find out.
Yeah.
Like going back to watch
Yeah, go
a
back
lot
and
of
watch
movies.
Stripes.
I know. Going
we
back
watched
to watch
that movie as kids big time.
Going back to watch any of these movies with the boys around, or Grady especially, because he's the one who's kind of like more of the cinemaphile, I'll call him, as a child, where he wants to watch movies with me. And a lot of times I'm like, oh, well, I don't know if you're going to get that. I don't know if you should have heard it.
Yeah.
But it was there, and it blows me away every time that how, like, underground dirty they are.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, again, it's hard to get better.
I agree. I took it off my list for some reason. I don't even know why. I recreated this list about 6 times. But anyway, my number 3 is a movie you've already talked about, and it is Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
I've always been obsessed with Beetlejuice. I think it's one of Michael Keaton's greatest movies of all time.
I mean, he was in some pretty good movies, like Jackie Brown.
Multiplicity.
It's great. Multiplicity is such a good movie.
Jack Frost.
Ooh.
No, not Jack Frost.
Birdman.
I love that movie.
But Beetlejuice, anyway.
Anyway,
yes, it
Beetlejuice
is a classic, absolutely.
Is an absolute classic. I love it. Again, if you look at a movie, the way it's filmed, the way it looks, the way the people dress, it looks like Halloween playing out day in and day out to me. That's the way it is. If you can't enjoy this movie around Halloween, you can't enjoy it ever. It's a Halloween movie. Michael Keaton's incredible, and I absolutely love the scene where they stand around the table and they're singing the song.
Daylight come and me one go home. And of course, you got the veiled Dune reference, the giant sandworm.
Yes, the sandworm where it's like, sandworms, you hate them, right?
Yeah,
Love
scary for kids, definitely.
It can be, yes, very scary for kids.
But we all watched it.
I watched it forever. I watched the cartoon.
Listen, it was a kid's movie. The cartoon was after that, and the cartoon was amazing.
And it was on Fox.
Yeah.
It was on Saturday morning cartoons. And I loved it. I would watch that all the time. Beetlejuice is incredible. It'll be a mainstay in my life forever. I had to put it up there.
And old Six Gun McGee's in it.
What?
Eric Burdwin.
Yikes. A little too soon.
Okay.
Bud.
That's true.
He killed a woman.
Yeah, I know. That's not funny.
Oh. You made
The
a
Rock,
joke about
by
that.
the way, pledged today that he will no longer be using guns in any of his movies.
Really?
Real guns. He can use prop guns, like fake guns, but he will not use real guns.
All of the prop guns were real guns.
Yeah, but now he wants like fake guns, ones that won't fire.
Can't they CGI it?
They just have to take the barrel out completely.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Like, it's not that hard.
No,
Or
it's
take
not
the
hard at
firing
all.
pin out or something.
Well, absolutely, you could take the firing
But
pin
you've
out.
seen shows, like low-budget shows, where they have fake gunfire, and it looks bad.
Well, you literally said, though, low-budget shows.
Yeah, for sure.
If you're talking about movies that Alec Baldwin's in, The Rock's in, I guarantee you they have a budget to make that look good.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Beetlejuice, watch it. Love it. Enjoy it.
Day.
I think they're making a sequel too, right?
Say day.
With
Say
Michael
day.
Keaton.
They are?
I believe so, yeah.
Oh, what I wanted to say
Gina
is...
Davis.
Gina Davis is in it.
Catherine O'Hara.
What I wanted to say is that the majority of Michael Keaton's lines were all ad-libbed. He didn't have a script. So he just created what he said. I think that's amazing.
Beetlejuice 2 is coming out, yes. Potentially.
Well, that will potentially be in my top 5 next year for the years to come.
Okay, my number 2 is...
Number 2.
Is a franchise as well.
Okay.
It is Evil Dead 2, and Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
I've talked about these movies a lot. I'm a huge, huge fan of Sam Raimi, Bruce Campbell, the whole horror camp comedy dealings. My favorite of them is Army of Darkness. That is decidedly most people's least favorite of them. It is my favorite, though, because it is the most fantastical and involves going back into medieval times and fighting demons. But if you haven't watched the Evil Dead movies, and you can enjoy camp.
Oh, yeah.
We have to put it that way. These aren't like... They made a new one.
Very campy.
In recently, in the last 10 years. I never saw it. It wasn't written or directed by Sam Raimi.
No, but there was the show, too.
And then there was Ash versus the Evil Dead.
Yeah, you watched that,
I did start watching it. Never really finished through on it. I don't know why. I loved Army of Darkness so much, though, I wanted to name Jet Ash. But I couldn't because we had another kid named Cash. I didn't want to have Cash and Ash.
Wow, you failed there. You should have been planning that.
Yeah, but his name in the show it's Ashley, right? It's Ashley.
Yeah, it's Ashley.
It's not Asher. It's Ashley.
No, it's Ashley.
It's just the perfect mix of gore. It's not scary. It's gore, comedy, that kind of thing.
Yes, it's fun.
It is fun. Fun stuff. All right. Obviously, I'm into the zombie stuff.
You are a zombie guy.
I am. Because I really wanted to put Zombieland on my list, too. Because I love that movie.
Mandy said, agree, Beetlejuice is the bomb. Yeah. She also said, I had my kids take a picture with the Ghostbuster car at Trunk or Treat and told the guy the only reason I took the pic was to send to my brother.
Oh, another great Halloween costume. I'm pretty sure I was a Ghostbuster one year for Halloween because I had the
Oh, yeah, I'm sure you were. I could have told you that. I didn't even know, and I could have told you that.
I had all the toys, loved it. But Evil Dead, good stuff. Comics, too. Long-running comic series.
They do have a lot of comics. That is true. My number 2 is a classic. It's kind of on the nose for a Halloween movie. And
Halloween Town?
No, it's Halloween.
Oh.
It's the only horror movie, like the real horror movie that I had on my list. And I thought about it long and hard. I feel like it needs this. I feel like it needs to be on the list.
You know, it's funny.
Towards the top.
I'm not a big horror fan, but I like the Halloween movies.
I like the Halloween movies as well.
Yeah.
The movies that I've seen, I love.
I've only seen the first couple.
I haven't seen Halloween H2O. I did see.
I heard that was pretty good though.
I did see Jason versus Michael Myers. I can't remember what that movie was called. Halloween. Maybe that was Halloween.
No. It was Freddy versus Jason.
Freddy versus Jason. That's right.
Yeah.
That's the one I saw. Okay.
I'm also a fan of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies.
I am too. I am kind of too. Those are really the only horror movies that I grew up watching and saw a lot of, and I kind of enjoy. But I'm putting it as the original Halloween.
Yeah.
The first one, that's what I'm putting as my number 2. That's what set it off. I love Jamie Lee Curtis in these movies, especially.
You know what my favorite thing she does is?
Scream.
The Activia commercials.
Activia, yeah.
I love hearing Jamie Lee Curtis talk about her.
You gotta get it going, man. Yeah. Especially when you're older.
Regularity, yeah.
Women, when they're older, you gotta stay regular, And Activia will do that for you. And she's made a shitload of money off Activia, but she's also made a buttload of money off of Halloween. Yeah. And she continues because apparently there's another movie out called Halloween Kills.
Yeah.
And Michael Myers is still alive and
never dies.
Whatever. But we talked
about it. He's evil incarnate, right?
Original Halloween is a classic. I think people should watch it, especially around Halloween. Wait till your kids are older. Obviously, it has murder. But
it has murder,
a lot of murder,
mayhem,
a lot of murder,
It's freaky. It's one of the actual scarier ones.
It is, and
a lot of them aren't scary. Like
it's like
Freddy movies are jump scares, but they're not really scary.
It's like subtly scary. It's uncomfortable scary because you don't know where he is. You don't know where he's going to pop out of. He's a dude in a mask in a what's that guy's name that just Michael or Shatner, William Shatner. It's his mask. Did you know that?
I did not know.
Yeah, so they made that mask for him. It's a blank mask that they made on Star Trek. So they needed a blank of his face so that they could put skin over top of his for one of his episodes. He talks about it a lot. But they literally put skin over top of his face so that he could rip it off in a one of the episodes. And that's like the blank for it. And it, I don't know, it apparently was made in a Halloween store or in a costume store. And for that movie, they originally had a mask that they didn't like, so the director sent a guy out and said, go get a different mask. So he just ran to a costume shop, grabbed that mask, came back, and they used it, and they're like, this is the one. So it's literally like William Shatner's face.
That's crazy. Mandy said, speaking of zombies, have you seen the TV show Santa Clarita Diet?
I've heard of it, but I did not know that had to do with zombies.
Yeah, I watched the first couple episodes.
Isn't Drew Barrymore in that?
Yes, and Timothy Oliphant.
Yeah.
Timothy Elephant. Yeah, I'm a big fan of his and hers, but I couldn't get into the show. I didn't keep watching it.
Wait, are they zombies?
There's eating of people going on. I don't know.
I kind of want to watch it.
You should. I've heard good things. She also said, I buy Activia because JLC suggests it, and she's amazing.
She is amazing.
It tastes good, too.
It keeps you regular, Mandy. Okay? And you need that. You're getting older.
Yeah.
Sorry to say that. I know you're going to be mad about that, but it's true. You're getting older. You need to stay regular. You know, keep your poops flowing.
JLC says so.
JLC for life.
Number one?
Your number one.
My number one is not one you're ever going to guess. Ever.
Mine's not going to either.
And we return to the zombie world for a movie.
World War Z?
No. Directed by Edgar Wright. Written by Simon Pegg.
Oh.
Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead is your number one?
Yeah, absolutely love.
Wow.
Love that movie. Love all of their movies.
They're great. They are great.
And both Nick Frost and Simon Pegg are some of my favorite actors in everything they're in. Nick Frost has a great new show on Amazon that I've talked about on the show.
Yeah, they do.
I can't even remember what it's called now, but it's like he's like a paranormal investigator.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it didn't get renewed. But
that's too bad.
Shaun of the Dead was my first exposure to that world. They're like a little microverse, right?
You're right.
They made their movies. It was like Kevin Smith was doing his thing. They were doing their thing. Quentin Tarantino was doing his thing. They're like these little mini pocket universes.
You're right.
Yeah.
That's a really good way of describing it because they are their own thing. Something nobody else is doing. It's shot in a certain way. The characters are always like relatively the same, but in different movies. It's good.
And it's a
I
comedy.
Like Hot Fuzz.
Obviously, it's a parody, I guess, of Dawn of the Dead, the George Romero.
It is.
But it's nothing like that at all. It's a straight comedy.
It is
action,
so fun.
But gets really dark at times, for sure. And Hot Fuzz is the same way. I love that movie.
Yep.
Because it takes a weird, dark turn.
Yes.
Definitely recommend. I don't know if it should be number one or not, but I'm thinking of kind of scary movies that I actually enjoy watching, and that's one of them. So
I love it. My number one is not scary at all.
Okay.
But
Halloween Town.
No. It does have to do with Halloween. It's set on Halloween. After doing a little bit of research is when I figured that out, and it was kind of like, duh. Yeah, that's like the premise of the movie. And it's The Crow.
Oh, yeah. I knew you were going to have that on your list.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, because I did some research and I realized I didn't know it was set on Halloween either.
They were going to get married. Eric and his wife, or his fiance, were going to get married on Halloween. She ends up getting killed the day before, and he gets killed on Halloween.
I have proof that I actually did think of it. It's on my list.
Damn it. How do you do that?
I don't know.
I don't know how you do that.
And then when I saw it, I'm like, Jerry's going to have that as his
I'm
number.
not that predictable, am I?
Well, I just know you love that movie.
I do. I absolutely love this movie. And then once I started looking into movies and I stumbled on it, I didn't think of it right away. I kind of stumbled on it. It was actually on that Wikipedia list of movies that are based on Halloween. And I was like, yeah, well, I got to put this on my list. So I just put it down at the bottom and I ranked it later. I have to put it as my number one. I love it so much. I could watch this movie every day. I love the story. I love the anti-hero aspect of the Crow.
Yep.
Him coming back to life with a little sidekick girl that loved
It's
his
very similar to
fiance.
like Spawn type story or
A little tamed down Spawn
down,
story.
yeah.
You're right. I love the flashbacks of seeing them together and him having to go through all this pain, but he's doing it for like a vengeance purpose, you know. And I love crows for some reason. I think crows as birds are really cool because they're super smart. I don't know. I absolutely love it. The bad guy was one of the bad guys also in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves with Kevin Costner.
Mm-hmm.
He was the sheriff of Nottingham's like right-hand man on the horse, and he sword fought Kevin Costner and gets killed. But
spoiler.
I mean, that's not really a spoiler, but he's the bad guy, and he was like a bad guy in a lot of 90s movies. He's got long hair. I don't know. I love it.
Nice.
R.I.P. Brandon Lee.
Yeah. Who would have thought that those would be our lists?
I didn't.
They're all
I
over
think
the
this
place.
is a great list. I love this.
I think it's cool too because it isn't a straight genre. Like it makes us make a real list.
Yeah, of movies. I think this is what
that
we need to
could
do.
recommend around Halloween time to watch, and I think that it has a lot of different options for different types of viewers.
And I think this is what we need to do.
Yeah,
We need to pick certain like points in the year and say, hey, these are movies we love to watch around this time.
Yeah.
Like for spring.
that are around
summer.
a theme. Yeah, of
Yeah.
some kind.
You go to the beach? Love beach movies. You know?
Beach movies is a good idea.
Love beach movies. What's a good beach movie?
Baywatch.
Jaws.
Jaws. I mean, so this was a tough one for me because if you're doing like on a horror list,
On a straight horror.
you know, I'm gonna have a Jaws on there.
Yeah.
If you have, but you know, on a Halloween list, it doesn't feel right because it's based in the summer.
You can't
On the shore, on
put
the
Jaws on a
beach.
Halloween list.
No.
It doesn't feel like Halloween.
Feels like summer.
It does. It absolutely feels like summer. You know why? Because it's based in the summertime.
Yeah.
With sharks on a beach.
Yeah. In what? New Jersey? Or is it Carolina?
Connecticut?
I don't know. Somewhere on the East Coast.
Yeah.
I should
Rhode
definitely-
Island.
Should definitely know that.
I think it's Rhode Island. Delaware?
Delaware? Are there
Hi.
any beaches in Delaware?
We're in Delaware.
Yeah,
Delaware.
there's beaches in Delaware.
Yeah, it butts up to the ocean.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
So that's our our list. My number one was Shaun of the Dead.
That
and
is-
yours was The Crow.
The
Weird.
Crow.
That is so weird.
It is, isn't it?
Yes.
It's so weird, but this is a great list. If you haven't ever seen any of these movies, watch them. Get in there. Watch some movies, man. I love watching movies. I think it's the greatest thing of all
Don't
time.
do it enough. Get
No,
sucked into
I don't
these
either,
shows.
but-
Speaking of shows, where are we at on time?
We are at an hour and 43 minutes, and we have to talk about shows now.
Okay. We're not going to be able to talk about all of them because we don't have enough time. So you want to hold back on Lock and Key? Because that might
I
be
think we should.
a longer one. We both finished watching Lock and Key. We'll give you another week to catch up on
Yeah,
it.
season 2,
Definitely watch it. It's worth watching. Start at
It's-
season 1 and watch it through.
binge worthy. I finished this show really fast.
Yeah, me too. And Marley as well.
Oh,
Actually,
really?
Yeah, she wanted to watch it more than me. So check it out, and we're going to do our review on that next week.
Yeah, I agree.
I got 2 quick ones that I watched.
Me
and
too.
Then I want to do a review, my review of Squid Game.
Okay.
Real quick, I don't want to talk about it too much because I just started it, but there's a show on Hulu that just striked my interest because it's called Champaign, Illinois,
Oh,
or Champaign Ill, like Champaign, ILL.
yeah.
And it is set in Champaign,
It should be.
kind of. It is about these 3 friends, 2 of them, and they grew up in Champaign and went to University of Illinois.
Of course.
And one of them becomes a famous, like world famous, mega superstar rapper.
Oh.
And the other two basically put their lives completely on hold, whatever they wanted to do, to be like part of his entourage. And so it starts there when they're like just graduating, and then it picks up like 20 years in the future, and they're just living this like complete rock star life. I'm talking like famous rapper like Jay-Z,
like
yeah, big time,
wild.
And I mean, this isn't a spoiler because it's in the first episode and the trailer. Their friend, this rapper, dies like suddenly in the first episode, and
oh my gosh,
they like quickly realize that they have nothing. Like everything was mooched off of, but they have no. They've lived so long in this rapper lifestyle of excess that they don't even know how like the real world works, and now they're forced to move back to Champaign, to their hometowns, and like pick up the pieces.
That sounds fun.
And it's a comedy, and you recognize the main actor in it. He was in, let me see what his name is. He has been in a ton of stuff. His name is it Adam Pawley? Yeah, Adam Pawley. He was in Sonic the Hedgehog. He was not the cop, but the other cop.
Yes, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, the younger guy.
Yeah, and he was in a show that was really big, Happy Endings. He was in Happy Endings, this show.
I don't know that.
Anyway, you'd recognize him if you saw him. I liked it. I watched like 3 episodes. I thought it was really funny, for sure. I'm definitely going to keep watching it, not just because it was based in Champaign, Illinois, where I lived. It has a special place in my heart.
Yeah.
But it is also, I think, a pretty funny
very
show.
good.
Yeah. So that's on Hulu. Check that out.
Cool. I have one I watched just the other night. It was like very quick, just to watch something to fall asleep, basically. I went to work all night. I got home at like 3 in the morning, and I couldn't go to sleep, so I wanted to put something on. And I turned on Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee.
Love it.
And Jim Carrey was an episode. I hadn't seen any of these newer episodes. Jim Carrey was on there. Jimmy Fallon. And Jimmy Fallon had a 2-part episode. And then the fourth episode was Alec Baldwin. And but Jim Carrey's episode was amazing. I like listening to that guy talk for some reason.
Every episode of that show is good.
But yeah, that's what I was finding is that every episode that came up,
pleasant.
They're short. They're 17, 18 minutes long. Very pleasant, down to earth, like very down to earth.
Very down to earth.
Obviously, it's structured, and like one of them with Jimmy Fallon, they went out on a boat. Like he took a Jeep out, or a Land Rover that Jerry Seinfeld had restored with a trailer and a Boston Whaler on the back. The very first edition Boston Whaler that he loved. So he took that out and, put it into a lake wherever they were at. And you could see the cars around them blocking traffic. And then afterwards, after they got out of the lake and back into the car, you could see the Land Rover behind him pulling the Jeep with different cars in this like big entourage filming them, as they drove around. So obviously it's very produced. It's not like just them driving around on open roads. There are some times that they're doing that, but it's rare. Anyway, the substance of the show is great. It's like just a regular conversation about the comedic world and what they are doing. I don't know. It feels very lighthearted and pretty genuine.
Absolutely.
When you watch them.
I think it's surprising because you really could see, like, I don't know, Jerry Seinfeld he's really good in it. It's just a really good show.
I honestly believe Jerry Seinfeld is so much more of a normal human being than anyone could ever understand. And maybe not, but maybe it's just very good acting. But from what I've seen of him in public and different things where he's just acted very normal. Like there's a video of him being interviewed, and Kesha, the rapper or artist or whatever, comes up to give him a hug, and he like puts his hands up. He's like, "No, thank you." And she's like, "Oh, I'm just such a huge fan. Can I give you a hug?" He's like, No, thank you." He just like walks away from her, and she ends up leaving, running away. And he's like, who was that? What was that?
Right.
Isn't that like so much of a normal reaction, I think, to somebody that runs up to you, even though you're literally a Hollywood elite. I looked up his net worth, and he's got $892 million.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's got to be a billionaire by now.
He's not yet, but he's only $200 million away. And then you think about that. You've got Jerry Seinfeld and Jim Carrey sitting in the same car. And I looked up Jim Carrey's net worth, and he was at $888 million.
I'm surprised it's that high for him.
He's $188 million.
Yeah, it's not even close. Jerry Seinfeld owns Seinfeld.
I know. So it's $800 and some million and $188 million. And I was like, whoa. Like, I know Jim Carrey's a big star and he's got all the money in the world. That is a huge gap.
But it's about production, right? So Seinfeld is a
huge gap.
Billions of dollars show. It's made billions and billions of dollars.
And it's split between him and Larry David.
Well, I'm sure there's other people too.
I mean,
but I think honestly, it's that franchise was worth it because it's merchandising to products. I think that at one time that was like with syndication and Netflix deal, I think it was like a $4 billion show or something.
And it was an incredible contract that Jerry had made.
Yeah. So anyway,
it's got to be his name.
Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. Great show.
Jerry Seinfeld.
All right. I have one more, and then I want to do Squid Game. Do I have time?
I have one more as well.
Oh, crap.
That I have to talk about.
I have to talk about this one.
We've got time. Go. Okay. We've got 10 minutes.
I have to talk about this documentary that was on Netflix called Stars in the Sky, a hunting story.
I haven't seen this.
Steve Rinella's new documentary.
I got to watch it.
It is nothing like Meat Eater. It is a narrated documentary. I think it's an hour long, about 100% narrated by Steve Rinella, and he's the main person in it.
Love that guy.
And it's about hunting, just in general, just hunting. The controversy, what it means to him, what it means to people, but also addressing the controversial aspects.
Sure.
And
bringing to light.
And giving the answers for those people.
Yeah.
Because it's an educational thing, but it's also like a passion thing. I love that. It's very well done. Steve Rinella he's
very, very smart.
He's very intelligent, and he has a way with words that is incredible.
He's like the Anthony Bourdain of a hunting world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the way he writes things.
It was so good. And I'm not like a big hunter. I'm not a big hunting person. I do enjoy it, but it's not like a huge pastime of mine. I'm not passionate about it.
Yeah.
But it's so cool to see people that are so passionate about something give such a well done, and Joe Rogan's in it.
Good.
It's really good. You would obviously love it.
I would absolutely love that. I need to watch that. I didn't even know it was a thing.
I like Meat Eater, but I enjoyed this on a different level.
Yeah. I literally just bought a brand new ground blind today. It's a Rhino 180. You can see through it. Like, you get into this ground blind and you can see through the entire wall of it. But then on the outside, you can't see back into it. It's amazing. Just bought it today.
Well, anyway, Manny just said, sounds like Greg and I should watch that. I think she's talking about the hunting thing.
I think so.
You should, definitely.
So mine, real quick, that I'll buzz through really fast, is a show on Netflix as well called The Movies That Made Us. I had ignored that for a long time, and then I just randomly saw a list of movies that they talked about. I clicked on it and saw the episode lists, and there was a lot of movies on there that were based around Halloween movies that I was like, I want to know about the behind the scenes of this. One of them was Nightmare Before Christmas. That's why I knew all of that stuff about how it was made. Halloween, Aliens was another one, and honestly, I watched one about Elf too, and how they made Elf, and they are so interesting.
They do Back to the Future. They do a bunch of other stuff.
They're put together weird. It seems like a YouTube video almost. I don't enjoy that aspect of it, where they have like the pop-up graphics and stuff, and the way it's narrated is kind of weird. But when you get the actual interview with the people that are working on the films, and you get the story of what happened on these films and how they were actually made, it's enjoyable. Yeah. I liked it a lot.
I've seen most of them. I enjoyed them as well. They also had another series by the same company called The Toys That Made Us.
Yes.
And I actually liked that one better even. I thought it was better for some reason.
Okay.
But They're both.
I just love movies so much
yeah.
that it caught my attention, and then that's where I saw Aliens, and they were talking about. So I watched
That's
the whole
episode,
one
yeah.
about aliens, and I was like, "This is amazing." So I immediately stopped that. I ended up staying up until like 2 a.m. from Sunday to Monday watching Aliens because I had watched how it was made, and then I couldn't stop thinking about it, and I wanted to watch the whole movie from start to finish.
So hard. The beginning of Aliens is so dated.
Yeah,
It's like crazy. The production value is so low.
It is, but I love the movie. I mean, the movie is incredible.
I'm just talking right at the beginning. You forget about it immediately once the story kicks off.
Sure.
But yeah.
Yes, it is very dated because of the way they act,
It's just
act
it's
and
from the
talk.
70s, you know. It's just
No, that's an 80s movie.
the first one. I think is the late 70s.
The first one, but Aliens.
Oh, Aliens, yeah, it's way higher production value. I'm talking about if you go back and watch Alien. The first
Oh,
one.
okay. No, I'm talking about Aliens because that's what this episode was about. And that's what I went back and watched. And yeah, it's way, way bumped up because it's like 1986, I thought.
Yeah, it was a ways after.
Yeah. Anyway, very good. The movies that made us. If you're interested in that stuff, go look at some episodes. It's very fun.
All right.
5 minutes.
5
Go.
minutes. I will do a review of Squid Game. I finally finished it. We talked about it last week. I had watched like three or four episodes, and I wasn't kind of digging it too much. You told me I wasn't going to finish it.
I didn't think you would.
But I felt the need to, and it wasn't that many. I think it was 9 or 10 episodes. I think it was 10 episodes. So right out the gate, this is the biggest Netflix show of all time. It's all anybody's been talking about, right? And so I will say...
The biggest Netflix show of all time.
I believe so, yeah.
It's insane.
Can I recommend it? I cannot necessarily recommend it. There's some caveats to my little short review that I'll do here. The acting is horrendous, right? The acting is really bad, way over the top. The dubbing, while you totally kind of forget about it after a while, that fades. Like the first couple episodes, it's hard to deal with, but you get over it and it's totally fine.
Okay.
After a while, you don't even really notice. But it does take away a little bit. And I will say, on top of the characters, the acting being really bad, like the actual dialogue and the plot are not well done. Like it feels like a B movie, right?
Yeah.
It feels really much like it was not a well fleshed out. Maybe some gets lost in translation, and that's very possible.
That would be very possible. But honestly, from what I've seen from like trailers and little snippets, that's kind of how I felt to begin with. I was like, I don't feel like this is very well done.
So it feels like that kind of a B movie. It kind of straddles a weird line between almost feeling like a reality show, but it's not. I mean, it's definitely a narrative-focused movie, and it has subplots that run outside of the actual main game that they're playing, for sure. Now, did I eventually want to continue watching it after I got kind of sucked in a little bit? Yeah, I did. So, and you will. Like, there's enough there.
There's enough there that you just need to see it play out.
It is interesting. It's an interesting story. It's
an interesting premise.
It's an interesting premise, but
the story probably isn't that great. The premise is what keeps you in.
The story's good. The premise is interesting, and it makes you want to keep watching it in the way that you want to keep watching a reality show or something like Survivor or something like that.
Sure.
It's got enough of those aspects, enough of those things that kind of keep leading you along. Ultimately, is the payoff worth at the end? I mean, I don't know. Not really, but it is. It straddles that line of that reality show aspect and then also like the graphic, gory violence aspect. So like it's definitely got that in spades. I mean,
yeah.
It's got shock value for a lot.
Mandy says the ending was so bad.
I agree. I would agree with that. So, I mean, overall, like, I don't think it was very good at all. Like, it's way overhyped. Like I said, the plot's a mess. The acting is terrible.
Man, that's annoying to me. Why are these shows becoming the biggest shows on platforms?
But both of those things would lead me normally to be like, it's trash, right? But it's not. Like, it's got enough, right, to make you keep going through it.
Boy, you're not pushing
I think
a
that
hard
it's
bargain here.
worth watching if you're the kind of person that's like, okay, this is what's big in the cultural zeitgeist right now, and I want to kind of keep up with that a little bit. And I want to see.
Don't you think that's what is making, like, propelling this into the tier that it's in? Like, like people, one person got a hold of it that might have some clout on social media and said, everybody needs to watch this. And then it kind of blew up from there.
I mean, I think that it's probably generating a lot of overseas viewership, Asian viewership.
It's got to.
It's big.
Is this a Netflix produced show?
It is. It's kind of got an interesting story. The guy that wrote it was literally broke, living in his mom's house. He sold his laptop because he had no money. And he had written this script. And he somehow got to the right chain to get this script sold to to Netflix and get it made. The deal he made was terrible. He still basically has no money.
Oh my gosh.
They're talking about a season 2. They will do it. He'll make a bunch of money on that. The production value to this is mediocre, but it doesn't need a lot of production value. It's not that over the top.
Right. There's not much to it, right?
It's a weird kind of it's a weird vibe, and I can't say that it's good, but I can't say that it's not worth watching.
Weird.
What I mean?
That's a weird thing to say.
I kind of want you to watch it just so we can talk about it maybe a little bit, but it's not even like it's intriguing to the point where, like, I want you to watch it so we can talk about and discuss these, like, deep theories. Like, no, it's not deep.
So is it dubbed or is there closed captioning?
I think you can do either. I did the dubbed. I would probably recommend the dubbed. I don't think
I should read it all.
I don't think you're necessarily going to want to read it all.
Okay.
So I thought it was fun and interesting to see, like, oh, what's the next game going to be that they're going to have to be playing? And there is a couple episodes in there that are actually pretty good, like pretty intriguing stuff. I'm not going to give it away.
Okay. I might watch it. I might get into it and watch it.
Mandy says, I agree you want to keep watching it like you would a reality show, and it's super annoying how overhyped it got because of how not good overall it is. I would say it's not worth watching. I feel pretty much exactly the same way as she just said that.
Well, that doesn't make me want to watch it, though.
I don't think it's worth watching. Like, if there's a bunch of other things to watch, like, don't put it on the top of your list. I'm not talking to anybody and everybody in the world right now. I'm talking to you. I think maybe you should watch it.
Okay.
Can I recommend it to any viewer? No.
I'll start it. I'm not guaranteeing I'm going to finish it by any means.
It takes like 4 or 5 episodes to get to anything resembling interesting.
Jeez. That's a lot.
I would say by the 5th episode.
It's like 5 hours of my time that I got to spend watching something I don't really care about. How did you get through that?
By the 5th episode, I just didn't watch. I didn't binge it. I watched like an episode here, an episode there.
Okay.
I would say by the 5th episode, there's enough to pull you on because you want to see them compete in these games.
Yeah.
So that's the reality show kind of aspect. There is whole other subplots behind that.
Sure, I get it.
What's going on behind the scenes of this game. And that part is, it could have been really interesting if it was well done or well written. It
just wasn't. Yeah.
But maybe-ish.
Okay. We'll see where it goes. Maybe I'll watch it. Maybe I won't.
Yeah. So that's all I got. Squid Game.
All right. Thanks for listening this week. You got anything else?
No. Sorry we had a shitty start. We're going to try and not do that again next time. I will say, as of right now, everything that we have is changed.
We've rebranded everything.
We are snarftalk.com, at snarftalk on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, patreon.com/snarftalk.
Yep.
We're on Twitch, snarftalk on Twitch. The only thing that hasn't changed yet is YouTube. I totally screwed that up. So now you just have to search YouTube for Snarf Talk Podcast. There's no direct link to us. There will be, though.
There will be, yeah. Everything changed. Snarf Talk instead of Snarf Comics. It was Snarf Comics before. It is Snarf Talk.
We are being woefully inadequate at the comics, although I think we will pick up the pace on that.
Yes, it's coming up. C2E2 is coming up. That will give us the passion to do that. I guarantee you.
For Snarf Talk this week, I've been Chris.
I am Jerry.
See ya.
Bye.